I'm just going to be blunt here. A lot of plus-size clothing is kind of ugly. Whether on the runway or in stores, there just is not a lot on offer for plus-size women, and the clothing that does exist is not always that great. Today I'm going to explore why that is, and also show you an interview that I did with a plus-size brand that I think is doing it really, really right. I got to visit the studio of Montreal-based brand Marc Alexandrin, or Marc Alexandrin for my Frenchies. Owner Leïka Laguerre's designs are not only beautiful, but they're sustainably made by her using ends of rolls of fabric. How cool is that? Tell me about your brand. What makes it special?
Marc Alexandrin is a plus-size fashion brand. I can say what makes us special. It's the way we do things here. We take ends of fabric and of rolls of fabric from different clays, and we do our plus size from these fabrics. And also we do made to measure, and we're trying to limit fast fashion and do it like bespoke and one piece at a time.
So I think there's a stereotype that it's harder to design for plus size. Do you agree with that? And what do you wish people knew about designing for plus size?
It's not that it's difficult. En fait, le corps est différent, que ça soit plus size ou que ça soit les tailles standards que les gens appellent. Mais pour faire les grandes tailles, ça prend que de faire beaucoup plus de fitting. C'est sûr que ça prend beaucoup plus de tissu. Je trouve que c'est un défi, mais c'est pas impossible. C'est un défi, mais qui n'est pas impossible. Je suis pas mal sûre si moi, en tant que petite entreprise, je peux trouver comme genre une manière de faire un brand qui est plus grand, comme les gros joueurs, ils peuvent aussi trouver comme une manière de faire. C'est une question de choix. Est-ce que je vais investir dedans ou pas? Parce que ça demande beaucoup plus d'investissement.
I think what Leïka said about fit is really crucial to understanding the problem. Brands are just not devoting the time and resources to fitting that they used to. According to industry expert Andrea Kennedy, brands these days do about 2 fit samples. So those are the prototypes of garments that they put on an actual human being, generally a professional fit model, to test the fit in terms of how it contours the body and how it looks, but also range of motion. Hopefully they're fitting it on an actual human being anyway. Apparently some brands just fit it on a mannequin or use software to test the fit, which that's like a whole other level of bad. Anyway, so brands nowadays apparently do about 2 of those, whereas back in the 90s, they apparently did an average of almost 5 fit samples. So you can imagine how much better things would look and fit if you were fitting it 5 times instead of 2. And this is particularly important when it comes to plus sizes. As my favorite YouTuber Zoe Hong says in a video that I will link below, there are more weight distribution considerations with larger sizes. Some people might hold more weight in their arms, so you might need to create a bigger armhole, but some don't. Some hold weight more in their thighs and butt, in which case you might need more darts in bottoms to contour the body nicely and make it fit well. Anyway, because of these additional fit considerations, it's more important for brands that are trying to do plus sizes to really think about the body type of the customer they're trying to cater to, and they can't be quite as lazy on the fit. Not that I think any brand should be lazy on fit, but smaller bodies are kind of just basic cylinders, so you can do some basic textbook pattern making using standard measurements and techniques, not do as many fit samples, and you may, I'm not saying you will, but you may end up with something that looks okay. For plus sizes, there is a greater likelihood of ending up with something that is not okay if you do that. If you want more information on the work that goes into getting plus-sized pieces right, I've linked an article below that interviews 3 brands, Good American, 11 Honore, and Henning. It's well worth the read. Let's jump back to Marc Alexandrin. So tell me about your process. How do you go from an idea to a finished product?
It depends of the season, the emotion that I'm dealing with during the season. And sometimes people start with the fabrics, and after that they go with the sketches. Me, I go the other way around. I go with sketches because I sketch while I'm feeling like happy or I have different kind of emotions. I do sketches. So after that, I go search for fabrics and see what kind of fabrics that goes with what I have in mind.
So something that a lot of people outside the fashion industry don't know is that typically designers and brands will source their fabrics first and then start sketching and creating their designs based on those fabrics, which is called designing into the fabric. It's just a more efficient way of doing things for mass production. But I like how Leïka doesn't do that. I think that by designing first and then taking the time to find the right fabrics after, it really shows her commitment to doing things slowly and with intention, which is reflected in her beautiful designs. P.S. Definitely follow her brand on Instagram if you haven't already. She regularly posts about giveaways and sales, so if you're like, ooh, her stuff is really cute. Yeah, it is. Go follow her. So tell me, what's your favorite product you have this season?
My favorite products are my basics. And it's not like only for this season. It's pieces that you can wear any seasons. This one, I really love it. It's not a basic, but it's for fall. Ça, je l'ai en noir, qui est le meilleur des meilleurs tops, on va dire.
Ouais, genre best-seller.
Yeah, ça fait partie en fait des pièces que moi je préfère. Et pourquoi? Parce que le tissu, c'est un tissu qui est extensible, qui est doux. C'est très confortable. Ce que j'aime avec celle-ci, c'est que je peux aller partout, en fait. C'est comme the little black dress that everyone needs in their closet.
I think the Marc Alexandrin brand is a really great example of what plus-size fashion can be. Fashionable, beautiful, flattering, innovative, all while being ethical and eco-friendly. Now, I know a lot of people are like, I would love to support a brand like this, but a lot of these brands are online only, and I just don't feel comfortable buying something online without trying it on first. Totally fair. And I wish there were an easy fix for this, but something you could try doing is writing to local boutiques. This would be particularly effective if you have a few friends joining you and being like, hey, I would really like to see this brand called Marc Alexandrin, or whatever the brand is that you want to see. Would you consider placing a wholesale order for your store? You could also see if the brand is doing a pop-up shop in your area anytime soon. That could be another potential avenue. Unfortunately, there are no easy fixes, and some of these strategies require work, and you might be like, why should I advocate for myself just to have options of clothing to wear? And that's a fair question. But ultimately, when it comes to systemic change within the fashion industry, whether it's related to plus-size fashion or any of the other myriad of issues within fashion, this industry is very set in its ways, and it's not going to change unless we push it to. Thanks so much for watching. As always, take what I say with a grain of salt, and see you in the next video.